Hi everybody, this is Kristen, Unit 7 video response. So the first question is, why should collegiate athletes be paid or not paid? And I believe that they should be paid, so I'm going to take that stance. My reasonings are very simple, and so I'll share from businessinsider.com a little bit, and here I'll quote it. In 2014, 10 schools that made the most money in college sports averaged $144.8 million in athletic revenue, $132.5 million more than the average those schools spent on scholarships, which was $12.4 million. While there has always been a gap between what the top schools have made and what they are giving to the athletes in terms of scholarships, that gap today is obscene, and it's growing at a breakneck speed. Just 10 years ago, the gap between the two figures was $63.2 million. Nobody is forcing the schools to make that much money, but if they are going to take the money, they should share a little more with those who are actually doing the work. And so this kind of points to the idea that the employees are the athletes, and they are really drawing in the revenue. So other points to this would be from smartasset.com. One of their top points is that, and I think this is really valid, in professional sports, when someone drops out of professional sports, they say within 5 years, most of them go broke. And so their financial responsibility and dealings with money is poor. And a lot of that is sometimes they're young people and they haven't had the time to learn how to handle money properly. And so this would help, especially being a funnel into professional sports. It would help them manage money better because they are having to deal with it earlier. A second point would be that student athletes make so much money and bring in so much money. And so that's kind of what Business Insider was talking about. And so why not share that with the athletes, especially considering they're putting their life on the line, starting at the top. Their bodies are on the line, which can impact them for the rest of their life. Athletics, as we know, really impacts school from a time standpoint, travel standpoint, so that it's affecting their degree. If you look at it in terms of time and stress. And so why not give them incentive and pay them for that, the stress, the undue stress that it causes, playing for the school, bringing revenue into the school, in addition to getting their schooling paid for. Another thing would be that it could increase a lot of job opportunity. I think it would increase a lot of job opportunity because you're having to regulate it, and so there would be other positions because there would be a lot of legislative work into making this a success and fair and equitable, which kind of goes into the next question is, what are the negatives of this? And, the cons would be, most people would say, well, they're already getting scholarships, so they already have, benefits already. Another thing people would say that there's, and this is smartasset.com points this out, that paying athletes could detract from the purity of the game. So it's more about money instead of, college athletes tend to be known as playing just simply for the love of the game. But they are being rewarded for it, and they are technically being paid because had they not played the sport and they're getting an education, they would have had to pay for it. And the other con would be it's just too difficult of a process to manage and set up. So being that I support it, how the next question is how could a college regulate it? Well, I think you just have to start simple and you have to emulate what they're doing in the pros. And I think, and also tying in number 4 question, what should all athletes be paid? I don't think all athletes should be paid, and so therefore there needs to be, an evaluation and asset value of each player and their performance, which kind of helps the economy, because if you're not only getting a scholarship, but you're getting paid to play, there's going to be more incentive to play collegiate sports and get a scholarship and be paid to play, which is going to produce a lot more revenue in youth sports clubs before you get visibility, even advertisement to get into a college and be recruited. I also think it's going to naturally boost coaching pay. You're going to get better coaches because they're going to be paid better. So yeah, those are my ideas on why athletes should be paid in college. The second question is talking about the article that we read, Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics. And the first question is, what did I learn from the website? And the first thing that comes to mind was yay, amen, that we're starting to equate our education with success on the court. So now the pinnacle of the leader of athletics in college is rewarding and actually living out what it should be like in college athletics, and that's putting equal importance on academics as they do success on the court. And so, the top headline is Knight Commission calls for NCAA to transform its guidelines for March Madness revenues to better support college athletes and protect financial integrity. And so basically redistributing the revenue from March Madness, which is the biggest moneymaker in NCAA, and how to do that, go back to the academic side of things. And so this is good because it puts, you're going to get, the article points out that you're going to get better, student athletes because of this, because they're putting emphasis on being a student and your education, and the resources are going to go back into the schools, which is eventually it's going to go back to the athletes, enhance their education. So I think that one of the statistics that stood out to me was, under the current guidelines, just 25% of the NCAA revenues received by institutions are restricted to support athletes' education and promote other benefits. And they're saying by 2032, it'll match. It says by 2032, the end of the current media rights contract, funding awarded to institutions from the new Academic Achievement Fund would nearly match the amount awarded to the institutions based on men's basketball tournament appearance and wins. So I think this is promising, and I think that the next question is, what do you find intriguing and valuable to you in your interaction with sport? I find that, valuable to me would be that education is supported alongside with success in sport. I think that's what we should be teaching as educators and coaches. And so I think that we're heading in the right direction. That's it. Hope you have a great week.